Hello, hello, welcome everyone to Crash Zone. We are playing World of Warships Legends. Welcome back, kids. I am your host for tonight's shenanigans. I am Phoenix61. Make sure you're following the channel. I really do appreciate that. That being said, we are in the Loyang. I think this is a global XP ship that you can buy, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Somebody tell me in the comments. I don't remember how we got this one. So I think I was playing it because I needed to do something for a bureau project probably. But this is a decent ship as well. So this is one of those, the Pan-Asia lines, right? Or country. And, but yes, it's a premium ship though. So, but anyway, so a lot of people think that this, like they see it and they know it's a Pan-Asia ship, and most of the Pan-Asia ships have the deep water torpedoes. So basically you can't hit destroyers with them. This one does not, right? So you throw people off with that. But you don't get an engine boost, and you do get sonar that actually has really great range. So you can see me flipping on and off the AA there, just to try and leave myself a little bit less detectable, right? So sometimes the carrier players will see where the anti-air fire is coming from, and then they'll come closer to you so that they pick you up, right? But anyway, so we can see that the zone is contested, and I went into the menu to see how far my sonar picks up, and it's actually really good. It's 5.4 kilometers, right? So, and then my detectability is like 5.5, right? So I know that my little detectability sphere stretches outside, almost covers the whole zone C, right? So I knew that flipping my sonar on here would guarantee that we pick up where this destroyer is. And then we also get another one, right? So there's two of them over here. Now, so really what we're doing is we're playing to our ship's strengths, right? Like, you get decent guns with this, and then you also get torpedoes, right? But this sonar is going to last for, what, minute 20 seconds, minute and a half or so? Even just chilling here, keeping those destroyers detected, like, if you're a destroyer player, you know, like, you don't like being seen, right? So like this is going to kind of, it forces people to make decisions sometimes, and sometimes it's a bad decision and then it's in your favor, right? So and then the other thing too is you're leaving them spotted, so even other people on your team may be able to pick them up, or at the very least know where torpedoes are going to come from, right? And we see this guy launch torpedoes towards our cruiser and battleship that are in here supporting us, right? So since I saw those come, and then I was getting picked up by airplanes anyway, plus I've got a smoke screen ready, I'm like, all right, let's take a little bit of a chance here, poke our nose out. There's two of them, right? So I'm like, I gotta be able to hit something, right? Like, yeah. So we tap our smoke screen, so now we're not spotted anymore, right? We've still got a decent, we didn't lose too much health with that, risque move, and then we get the torp hit, right? So that's what I was saying. He may not have suspected torpedoes from us just because we're a Pan-Asian ship, right? And if they were, they'd be the deep water ones, right? But they're not. The Loyang has regular torps, right? So we dodged torpedoes from the airplane, and then I was like, oh, maybe those were actually meant for the battleship behind us anyway. But yeah, so one destroyer down. We've got a minute left on our torps. So we'll hang out kind of somewhat near the battleship, right? We might be able to spot torpedoes, but then at least we're also helping shoot down airplanes as well. We're creating a little bit of an AA bubble. I do love the smoke screen with some of these Pan-Asian ships. You get it's usually pretty long, right? Like we've still got a minute left on this one. So enough for our torpedoes to completely reload here, right? And then I didn't think the AA was all that great, but it must be pretty decent. I mean, granted, the enemy airplanes are literally flying right over top of us constantly right now at this point. But we do have 13 planes shot down now as well. So it is kind of a little bit of a, it is nice to be able to sit in your smoke screen, have somebody else, picking up those airplanes and then getting those hits on them. So we took a hit from something there. I think somebody was firing at the battleship here and we were just too close to him, right? But we'll take advantage. So the destroyers got scared off, right? So we were able to finish capping the zone. And then I'm gonna dump, I could see the smoke coming up there, so I thought maybe he was gonna hang out there so that he'd be able to send torpedoes into the zone. They did just send some, so it's tough to tell who did it because there's two of them, right? But I'm like, you know what? We're gonna have sonar soon. We could go up and press and challenge those guys, right? So this is a little bit of an aggressive playstyle, and there's always that like risk reward, right? Like sometimes this pays off and it's really, really fun and awesome, and you get kills out of it, and then sometimes you just die, right? So always weigh that in, that this does not always work as well as it's about to here. But anyway, and then it's just like chance of like what the other team is doing too. But yeah, so two destroyers there that like just, I feel like they don't know what to do anymore at this point. And then this Amagi out here, so we got to pay attention to where he's going. And I was kind of like, well, maybe I can use this guy's smoke screen against him and go into the smoke screen. And then their carriers right here, right? And I get what this carrier player is trying to do. He's trying to, there's a balance to it here, but there's something smart about moving your carrier up so that you're plane, so it doesn't take you as long of a flight time to get to targets, and then you're able to do more damage throughout the game, right? But if you notice the enemy overtaking that area of the map, you need to have that thing moving away. And so he's just asking for the dev strike here. Not my fault. Like, sorry, not sorry. But so we send the torps at him, and I wish I would have seen that destroyer that was almost dead right next to him, but I was paying too much attention to this Amagi, right? And I was like, oh, there's the destroyer. And so I was just too late. Like I could have had that double strike there, and I was like so mad at myself for like missing that. It was right in front of me. He was just sitting there, damn near dead, and I was like, there's this Amagi still, like so. We've got 30 seconds to survive here. Either kill the Amagi or 35 seconds, and our smoke screen will be ready. And so we could use that if we manage to survive, right? A lot of times you notice the battleship, his secondaries are what's coming after us right now, right? He's not shooting his main guns at us. A lot of times when battleship players are going down, like they'll try and get, one last big hit on another battleship or a cruiser. So sometimes you can take advantage of the fact that they're just going to leave you alone because they know they're going down. They want to get a hit. They want to do some damage to like get that last little bit of damage dealt or XP earned for the game right before they go down. And then shooting a destroyer is a little bit of a, you're not going to get much out of it. Maybe the kill, it's a big maybe sometimes with shooting at a destroyer. But I feel like that was probably what was going through his head, right? There is something to be said about like, if you've got a substantial amount of players on your team and you want your team to be able to win, there's something to be said about trying to finish off a destroyer, right? Like that's valuable to do, but he was one of 3 guys left for the map, right? So we're at 3 kills. So of course, every time you get up, up into the 3 and 4 kill range, you're like, oh, how do I get a Kraken? But these other enemies are just too far away, right? But we are at 79,000 damage with 2 devastating strikes. One of them being that carrier. I think that's a big misplay there. So, you always get a little bit lucky when you have bad players on the other team, right? But, I mean, there's something to be said about, like, I've done that too, where I'll move my carrier in behind some cover. So then that way, your flight time to enemy ships is less, right? And then that just gives you more and more opportunities with each run that you do in the carrier with the planes, to do damage, right? So there's something to be said about, that being a semi-smart move. But as you notice, the zone getting overtaken, like that's your cue to move your carrier away, right? If anything, I would have probably pushed reverse and just let it back up all the way, but you can autopilot your carrier if you don't know that. So you go into the map view and you can hold X on whatever like square section you want, and your carrier will autopilot to that spot, right? So that way you can focus on flying airplanes. I feel like even at these higher tiers, I notice some people just like not utilizing that, and it confuses me, right? Like you want to move him around the map. You want to keep him, out of being spotted, but then also as close as you can so that, as close to enemies as you can without being spotted, so that you have short distances between your carrier and your flight time with your planes isn't so long, right? So yeah, it does look like I had a bureau project going. We'll see where we are on the leaderboard, 2,900 XP. That puts us at the top. Zone captures and dev strikes always help with that, right? And a little over 500,000 silvers for the take for the evening. So I'll show you how I have the commander set up. So we're using the this guy. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce his Swing Chuang name, right? Yeah, like my apologies, right? But yeah, so I do have this, kind of balanced, right? So a little bit of torpedo damage, a little bit of, engine boost cooldown, right? Like we're kind of mixing it up. Reload time is always a go-to on a torpedo boat, right? But if you're a destroyer and, if you have like guns, like if you're a gun-centric destroyer, you always have to keep that in mind. But we went all in torpedoes for the most part here. So reload time significant, that's a helper, right? And then less torpedo detectability and chances of torpedoes incapacitating, right? So you could go smoke screen here, but that was kind of a unique perk that I was like, you know what, that's probably a good one, right? So gives enemies less of a chance to be able to see your torpedoes, so it gives them less of a chance to be able to dodge them, right? So that is our Loyang video for the day. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're still here, feel like you liked the video enough at this point to give a bro a like, right? But in all fairness, do follow the channel because I'm doing World of Warships videos every day, so that way we will talk to you tomorrow. Later, guys. Bye.